Yeah, hello everybody. Good day to you. I represent online business opportunity. You can actually reach us on our website www.rhythmenergy.com. Rhythmenergy.com is a platform where you learn how to make money online. Making money online, a lot of opportunities online to you discover from our website rhythmenergy.com. Make money online. It's real. Welcome to online business opportunity once more. OBO. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin basics and benefits. Bitcoin basics and benefits. Now, what are the benefits of Bitcoin? Bitcoin. What are the benefits of Bitcoin? Today we'll examine the origin of digital currency. I'm going to teach you the fundamentals of Bitcoin and highlight Bitcoin key advantage over traditional fiat currency. Bitcoin, fiat currency, the US dollar, the Nigerian naira, and a lot. What are we going to be learning today? We're going to learn quite a number of things. First of all, I'm going to introduce to you introduction to Bitcoin basics. I'm going to introduce to you Bitcoin origins. How does Bitcoin work? Yes, how does Bitcoin work? What is the blockchain? How do I get Bitcoins? A lot of persons ask that question. How do I store Bitcoins and make transactions? How can I use Bitcoins? Bitcoin's benefits. You're also going to be learning Bitcoin versus fiat currency. 5 benefits of Bitcoin. And finally, my final thoughts. Yes, back to introduction to digital currency. What is digital currency? Digital currencies are decentralized mediums of exchange that represent a position on a ledger system that are created and stored electronically. This is in contrast to the traditional currency such as the paper dollar or metal coin, which can be physically held and are issued and backed by specific governments. A digital currency, what does it mean? It's a currency that is used on the internet. It's a medium of exchange between one party and the other party. The first party, the buyer, and the other party, the seller, exchanging either product or services online. Now, digital currency, they are decentralized medium of exchange. No government controls it. No central authority controls it. That's the meaning of decentralized. You understand? Okay, so digital currency, what is digital currency? They are digital currency are decentralized medium of exchange. No government is controlling this. No central body like a central bank or a government, a financial body is controlling this currency, and they represent a position on the ledger system. As we continue in this program, you're going to know what this ledger system is. The ledger system is called the blockchain. Okay, the blockchain. So we're going to learn quite a number of things. So in a summary, what is digital currency? Digital currency is a decentralized medium of exchange that represents a position of a ledger system that are created and stored electronically. This is in contrast to the traditional currency. It is different from our normal naira. It is different from our normal USD and our paper money. It is different from that, and moreover, it is it is not backed up by authorities. Like, it is not supervised. It is not monopolized. Yes, that's why it's decentralized. Okay. Now, Bitcoin origin. Though Bitcoin recently or recent growth has made the currency an household name, the idea and technology behind the currency has existed since 2009. Bitcoin was created by a programmer or a group of programmers calling themselves Satoshi Nakamoto. No individual or group has ever come forward to claim ownership of creating Bitcoin code or identifying themselves as Nakamoto. In the original paper explaining the currency, Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic payment system, Nakamoto described the digital currency system as a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash that would allow online payment to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, how does Bitcoin work? Individual can use Bitcoin to make payments to other individuals or merchants without involving a third party like a bank or financial institution for the purpose of validation. Instead, transactions are cleared and validated within the system through the blockchain. This is how Bitcoin works. An individual can simply transfer Bitcoin from one person to another person without involving a third party like a bank or a financial institution for the purpose of validation. Instead, transactions are cleared and validated within the system through the blockchain. That's how Bitcoin works. What is the blockchain? The blockchain is a public ledger that records and publicly display all Bitcoin transactions that have been executed within the Bitcoin system. A block is a permanent record of a recent transaction. The blocks of recorded data build up each other to form the blockchain, which dates all the way back to the first Bitcoin transaction. In a summary, a blockchain is a public ledger that keeps record of public display of all Bitcoin transactions that have ever been executed within the Bitcoin system. A block is a permanent record of a recent transaction. The block of a recorded data build upon each other to form the blockchain, which dates all the way back to the first Bitcoin transaction. Now, this is an example of a blockchain. Okay, and this is a sender sending Bitcoin through the blockchain. These are the block, and this is the receiver receiving the Bitcoin. Okay, all right, let's move on. The transparency established by the blockchain is essential in securing the validation process, as it allows the community to monitor and self-police transactions activities. It also allows for verification of both the spender and the recipient, and ensure that double spending a Bitcoin is impossible. That is why the blockchain. That is why this blockchain. That's why that is the purpose of the blockchain. You can see what is the blockchain. The blockchain is a public ledger that records public display all Bitcoin transactions. Yes, this is the blockchain. It's a public ledger that records all Bitcoin transactions, and it doesn't just record all Bitcoin transactions. It does that on all Bitcoin transactions that have existed on the Bitcoin system. This is a block. This is the block. This is the block. It also establishes transparency. You understand? It also allows for verification for both the spender and the recipient, and ensures that double spending a Bitcoin is impossible. We will discuss the blockchain in greater details in future guides. So keep glued, subscribe to this channel, like this channel, so you could get more future details, more guide from us. Okay, now, how do I get Bitcoin? Obtaining and learning to use Bitcoin system is a relatively simple process. The 4 fundamental ways to obtain Bitcoin includes: 1. Transaction. Individuals and merchants can elect to receive Bitcoin as payment for goods and services rendered, or for peer-to-peer payment system, or for peer-to-peer payment transfer. So I can come another individual can come, or a merchant can come. We can come into an agreement and say, okay, let us use Bitcoin to receive payment for the exchange of our goods or services rendered between us. So that's one. That is one. That is how do I get Bitcoin. That's one. Now, two, digital currency exchange. A digital currency exchange operates in a similar fashion to the traditional fiat currency exchange, allowing individuals to buy and sell Bitcoin at the prevailing market rate. 3. Miners. Miners are the backbone of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They receive monetary reward in Bitcoin for the services they provide for the network. This includes solving the algorithm necessary to process transactions, which help to secure the network and keep it running smoothly. That's the essence of miners. Now, lastly, Bitcoin ATM. Bitcoin ATM are increasingly popular solutions for buying the digital currency because of their convenience and simplicity. Making a transaction at a Bitcoin ATM is pretty straightforward. ATM users first verify their Bitcoin wallet by scanning a QR code on their smartphone. Fine. They then insert cash into the ATM and submit to complete the transaction. The appropriate amount of Bitcoin are then transferred to their wallet based on the exchange rate. Okay. Now, apart from that, there are other ways locally in Nigeria you can get to buy Bitcoin. Back to our question, you can get to buy Bitcoin. How do I get Bitcoin? First of all, you need to locate an exchanger. Just as you walk up to the Bureau de Exchange, where they buy and sell foreign currency, pounds, euros, dollars for naira. That is how you can locate exchangers, online exchangers, e-currency exchangers on the internet. Just go to Google and do a search. Okay, how do I get e-currency exchangers in Nigeria? Okay, with that you'll be able to see some Nigeria e-currency exchangers. They buy and sell e-currencies such as Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies and other e-currencies. So you have to take your due diligence. I'm not a financial advisor. It's only my opinion. I don't recommend. So you have to make your due diligence when you actually looking out for an e-currency exchanger to buy Bitcoin. Okay, so that has to do with transaction. You have to agree with the person or the merchant to exchange your fiat currency, your naira, for Bitcoin in order to get Bitcoin in your wallet. Now, once you've come to that agreement, the digital currency is exchanged between the buyer and the seller. Now you are the buyer, the merchant is the seller. Now we're talking about mining. Miners are the backbone of Bitcoin ecosystem. Now, what does this mean? You say in the process of sending Bitcoin from the merchant to you, or from you to your merchant. I mean, from the merchant to you in terms of you are buying from the merchant, and from you to your merchant in terms of you're selling Bitcoin to your merchant. There have to be confirmation of the Bitcoin you transfer to your merchant or the Bitcoin your merchant transfer to you. That confirmation process are done by miners. Now, the miners have to confirm this transaction, and upon confirming this transaction, there's a confirmation fee, and that goes to the blockchain, which is the ledger. So that's why we call miners are the backbone of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They receive monetary reward in Bitcoin for the services provided for the network. I've just explained the services they provide for the network, and these services include solving algorithm necessary to process transactions, which help to secure network and keep running smoothly. Okay, and back to Bitcoin ATM. It's there. So now, how do I store Bitcoin and make transaction? So this is a Bitcoin wallet. In order to safely store, send and receive Bitcoin, individuals must set up a digital wallet. You must set up a digital wallet. and we'll talk about that in our future guide. Please subscribe and like this video so you could get our future guide as soon as it comes out. A wallet is a file that houses all the unique keys. Unique keys are password attributed to an owner's Bitcoin, and where their value will be recorded and scrutinized when sending or receiving payments within the system. So let me make it easy. Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Blockchain, blockchain. See, blockchain is like your local bank. You have different banks in Nigeria. You have First Bank, you have Oceanic Bank, you have Guarantee Trust Bank, you have Zenith Bank. You have quite a number of banks. That is how blockchain is. Now, you can have a bank account and there's no money on it. So there's nothing practically you're saving or you're storing. But in Bitcoin, in a bank, you need money to be deposited into your account. So that is how you have a Bitcoin wallet, and you need Bitcoin to be deposited into your Bitcoin wallet. That is, you have a bank account, say with First Bank, and now you need money to deposit into your First Bank account. So you have a Bitcoin wallet, you open it on a blockchain. I recommend blockchain.info, which is like a bank, and then you create the wallet, like open the bank account, you open the wallet, and then you put Bitcoin in it, just like you put money in it. So you exchange. In our previous lecture guide, you exchange your fiat currency, your naira, to Bitcoin, and you deposit it in your wallet. So now that is how to store Bitcoin. And now when you have a bank account like a First Bank account and you have money in it, you can use it to perform transactions. You can do a transfer, you can buy goods or services online, you can buy goods or services offline, or whichever way you want to exchange product or services, you want to exchange payment for product or services. Now the same thing applies to Bitcoin. Once you have a Bitcoin wallet, you put you store the Bitcoin there, and now you can make any transaction with Bitcoin. In order to safely store and send and receive Bitcoin, individuals must set up a digital wallet. So you must have a bank account, you must have a digital wallet, which is a Bitcoin wallet. A wallet is a file that stores all unique keys, password attributed to the owner Bitcoin, and where their value will be recorded and scrutinized when sending or receiving payments within the system. We will discuss the how to open a Bitcoin wallet in greater details in future guys. So please subscribe, like, share this video. The most important thing is subscribe to this video, subscribe to this guide. So once we get a new guide on how to open a Bitcoin wallet, I'm going to be discussing about that in subsequent guide in the future very soon. So how to open a Bitcoin wallet, how to secure your Bitcoin wallet, it is very easy. Okay, so subscribe to this video now, check the button below, subscribe, click on it, like it, share it. Thank you. So let's move on. In order to receive Bitcoin, you simply provide the sender with your address. An address is a long sequence number. It's like this. Yeah, that's how the address is. It's a long sequence number. It's like this. Sorry. Now, it's a long sequence number that looks like this. Letter that starts with A, 1 or 3, and is the unique identifier used to send payments to you and only you. New addresses can be generated for each transaction to maintain greater financial privacy. How can I use Bitcoin? Bitcoin can be used for a multitude of transactions, including but not limited to purchasing of goods and services, trading, remittance, and quite a number. Bitcoin benefits. Bitcoin versus fiat currency. Bitcoin versus fiat currency. This is the dollar. Let's assume this is our naira. Bitcoin. What are the benefits of Bitcoin versus our naira? What are the benefits of Bitcoin versus the fiat currency, the dollar? What are the benefits? This is what we're going to learn now. First of all, we need to understand what is fiat currency. The origin of fiat currency, like much of our traditional financial system, dates back to the 11th century and the rise of the earliest nation states in China and in Europe. Fiat money is currency issued as legal tender by a country government, which arguably has no intrinsic value, since the value of the money is not tied to a specific commodity like silver, gold. Its value is instead determined by supply and demand economics, the fate of the nation's citizen in the government, the payment of taxes in that currency, and by extension the government's commitment to back the currency. The vast majority of official currency currently in use around the world can be defined as fiat currency. We can define our naira as fiat currency. We can define the US dollar as fiat currency. So that's what we call fiat currency. 5 benefits of Bitcoin. 1, it's faster, it's cheaper, a payment system. It's a very fast payment system, and it's cheaper. You can perform transaction from the buyer to the seller, from one end to another end, from one continent to another continent in a jiffy, in less than 10 minutes. I can send money from Nigeria here to the United States of America through my Bitcoin account, and in less than 10 minutes the person over there in the United States of America has gotten the Bitcoin. Why? The process is through the blockchain in less than 10 minutes. But if you're making a payment or transfer from your local bank account to another bank account, it takes time. It could take 3 to 5 working days. Bitcoin transaction can occur at any time and fast and have lower fees. The average Bitcoin transaction is executed in 10 minutes with fees for simple P2P transfer. What is P2P? P2P, peer-to-peer, person-to-person transfer to remittance, coming in at under 1%. Imagine I'm transferring like $10,000 from Nigeria here to, say, United States of America. It's not going to cost me up to 1% of $10,000 for me to do that transaction, and it's not going to cost me more than 10 minutes of my time. The moment I click on send, and it goes, the person over there confirms it and he gets it. So that's what we're saying. This is due to a large part of the fact that traditional third-party financial institutions like banks are removed from the transaction process. Merchants and individuals using Bitcoin are not restrained by set banking hours, like the banking hours in Nigeria work from 8 to 4. Withdrawal limits, you have to send only $1,000 in a day. No, you don't have all those kind of things. Or long transaction execution period before funds become available to the receiver. Or it takes 3 to 5 working days for you to get the $10,000 I'm sending from here to the United States. No. With Bitcoin, one of the benefits of Bitcoin is, you have kids abroad, you have kids in Russia, you have kids in Germany, you have kids in Ukraine, and you want to send them money. You can simply just get Bitcoin, get a Bitcoin wallet, secure it, just the same way you secure your bank account. Just the same way you have your bank account, you have it secure, no one can access it. It's the same way you can have your Bitcoin account also secure, no one access it. You just go there, make your Bitcoin available on your wallet with the fiat currency, with the naira you have. Now, assuming you have 1 million naira, and then you need the Bitcoin worth 1 million naira, you go to the market, you take your 1 million naira, go get an exchanger, you give your exchanger the 1 million naira, the exchanger gives you the Bitcoin value of the 1 million naira, and then you can transfer it to your kids abroad or wherever you want to transfer it to. It's as fast as that. Within 10 minutes the person who you're sending the money to receives it. You don't have banking hour restriction. You don't have this is the maximum amount of money you're supposed to send, or you don't have long period of time for the person who's supposed to receive it over there to say, I've been waiting for 3 working days, now it's now 5 working days, I've not still gotten the money you sent through your domiciliary account. No, with Bitcoin it's fast, it's cheaper payment system. Okay, now it's safeguard against currency manipulation. Bitcoin is not owned or controlled by a country or governing body. Additionally, unlike many other forms of currency, the number of Bitcoin that will be issued is infinite. It's finite. Exactly 21 million. The benefit of this lack of ownership and finite amount is that the Bitcoin supply cannot be artificially manipulated. There are only 21 million Bitcoin that are supposed to be mined, so that is why it's finite. So the benefit of this is that the lack of ownership and finite amount is that the Bitcoin supply cannot be artificially manipulated, like the US dollar, the Nigerian dollar, the naira, the US dollar. There could be inflation in the country. The government could print money. They print it, just print it, and settle their bills, print it, settle their debts, and move on. But in Bitcoin, you can't print, you can't mine more than 21 million, so it's finite. When it comes to fiat currency, government can easily print additional paper or mint coin, devaluing existing money in circulation and causing inflation. The decentralized nature of Bitcoin decreases monetary concern, and largely leaves fluctuation in value up to natural supply and demand economy. I just explained that. Thank you. Now, greater consumer protection. The use of Bitcoin as an alternate fiat currency provides protection against the downside that can occur with traditional bank accounts. This includes the threat of bank failures or skimming. Not just that, in events of bank failure, the customer can face frozen bank accounts. Yeah, it has happened in Nigeria. It has happened in other parts of the world. When the banks they failed, the customer account has been frozen. In Europe, it has happened. In Nigeria, yeah, it has happened several times. And the bank account would then be liquidated or seeking for bailout. So what am I trying to say? The use of Bitcoin as an alternative to fiat currency provides protection against the downside that can occur with traditional bank accounts. This includes the threat of bank failure or skimming. In the event of a bank failure, a customer can face frozen bank accounts while liquidation plans or bailouts are hashed out. Imagine you could have $1 million in your US bank account, and the bank is seeking for bailout, or 1 million naira in your Nigeria bank account, and the bank has failed. They are seeking for bailout. They say they don't have money to pay again because of whatever is happening in the economy. They will now be issuing you 10,000 naira for your 1 million naira. What are you saying? Is that a bailout? No. In some countries, traditional bank customers may even find that bank will skim money off their customers' accounts. You see, it happens in order to remain solvent. Now, this occurred during the banking crisis faced by Cyprus in 2013. But with Bitcoin, individuals remain in full control of when and how their assets are retrieved, transferred, and spent. Essentially, digital currency users become their own bank. So with Bitcoin, you are your own bank. With Bitcoin, you have a greater customer protection compared to the normal traditional bank. Now, apart from that, you also one of the benefits again is greater transparency. Greater transparency. All Bitcoin transactions are permanently recorded on the blockchain. We've talked about what the blockchain is briefly. All transactions are publicly and traceable. See, you can send somebody Bitcoin in the US now, from Nigeria to the US, and then with the hash ID, even with the wallet address of the sender or the receiver, you can actually see such transaction, how much was sent on the blockchain. That is what we call transparency in the public, on the blockchain. It works on the blockchain technology, and it's traceable. The balance associated with each address is also part of the public recorded. Yes, the blockchain makes Bitcoin much more transparent than many other monetary systems. You understand? That's what it means. Now, another benefit of Bitcoin is private and secure. Although all Bitcoin transaction details are stored publicly on the blockchain, the identities of this user involved remain relatively anonymous. because payment can be made without including personal identification information. Bitcoin provides inherent security against identity theft. Let me explain this. With your Bitcoin wallet address or your Bitcoin account, you don't need a bank account name, you don't need your passport, you don't need your face to be on the account. Like the traditional bank, you need your face to be on the account. You need to, in Nigeria here, you need the BVN. Now the Central Bank of Nigeria is saying if you are Nigerians in diaspora, if you don't if you don't come back to Nigeria to activate your BVN, they're going to shut down your bank account. With Bitcoin, you don't need a bank account, you don't need it, you don't need your face, you don't need the BVN for that. All you just need to do is just for you to have your Bitcoin wallet and then secure it. Now you can perform any transaction you want to perform because you secured your account. You see, though yes, transactions are stored publicly on the blockchain, the identity of the users, the identity of the account holder or the Bitcoin holder involves remain relatively anonymous. Anonymous simply means just to you they are the owner, because payments can be made without including personal identification information. You see, now additionally, there is no risk of being charged twice or fraudulent charges being accessed to your wallet thanks to blockchain. On our bank account, you could just get different charges coming on your account: SMS alert, SMS charge, end of the year charge, COT charge, and a lot of charge. You could even have an account in Nigeria. You could have a current account and then you decide to travel out and say in the next 2 years that you are back. When you are back, you will see your account statement with a lot of charge, like SMS every month. Imagine account that you've not done any transaction on for say like 3 years, and you come back into Nigeria, the bank is telling you that you should pay 100,000 naira for SMS alert and other charges. Why? In Bitcoin, you don't get all these charges. I call them fraudulent charges being assessed on your bank account. In Bitcoin, you don't have all these fraudulent charges on your wallet, and thanks to blockchain, which monitors unique coin addresses and eliminates the possibility of paying multiple people within the same Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't offer the complete anonymity of cash, but certainly a far more private experience than making online payment or transaction using your debit or credit card. Now, greater transparency, we've talked about that. We've talked about greater consumer protection. Yes, how it can protect you from your bank going out of extinction, freezing your account. We talked about safeguard against currency manipulation, and quite a number of benefits of Bitcoin. Okay, now the next we're going to go into now is, we've learned quite a number of what Bitcoin is all about. Learned quite a number of things of what Bitcoin is all about. My final thought. I want to say thank you very much for staying glued to this video, to this guide. Finally, my thought: Bitcoin is currently the most valuable and widely adopted digital currency. A growing number of businesses, charities, and other organizations are accepting Bitcoin payment, ranging from e-retailers to law firms to sport franchises. Further, recent inflationary and banking crises across the globe have highlighted some of the key threats inherent to fiat currency. This creates additional opportunities for decentralized digital currency. And digital currencies are not just Bitcoin alone anyway. In our future guide, we're going to be learning quite a number of other digital currency. We'll talk about Bitcoin because Bitcoin is the #1 digital currency on the internet. And in our future guide, I'm going to teach you, guiding you guys on other digital currency. Education will be critical to increasing Bitcoin acceptance, such as what I'm doing, and usage by merchant, institution, and individual. The system will also need to address common criticism, yes, around illicit uses of Bitcoin, and work diligently to build regulatory and legal framework around the globe. My name is Bitcoin Pikin. I represent realteamenergy.com. I'm not a financial advisor. All you have learned today, it's my opinion. You're bound to your own opinion. I would love you to subscribe to this channel. Click on the subscribe button below and subscribe to this channel so you could get more information, more guide as they come in. I want to say thank you very much for listening to me. Stay glued, subscribe to us, share this video, subscribe to this video so you could get more guide. Thank you once more.